Hi, this is Richard Blade, and you're listening to the Blue Zone Podcast Network as it presents Permanent Record, an in-depth look at the classic albums of the 70s and 80s, albums which have earned a permanent place of honor, both in our hearts and in our record collections.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Brian coming at you with 217 pounds of pure podcasting power. Yes, I weigh more than I ever have in my life. It's disgusting, but I'm focusing all that weight into being a better podcaster. How's it going, Sarah?
Wow, that was a lot of sharing right off the bat. I'm great. I don't weigh that much, but yeah, I'm getting pretty chubby too. I think we're just fattening up for the winter, right?
We're either fattening up for the winter or we are fattening up because all we do now is sit at the table or our desk and research 80s music.
Yeah.
And we don't go outside, we don't walk, we don't move.
No, we don't.
We now go around the house and get exhausted just climbing the stairs. We're out of shape.
All right. Yeah, we need to probably make some changes. But one of those changes is not going to be sitting and researching music because we love it.
We do love it, and we got to keep doing it. We're approaching this is going to be, what is this, episode 68?
Something like that.
So we're getting close to the, if you read comic books, issue 75 is always an anniversary double-sized issue.
Okay.
So that's like a milestone. If we can hit 75, we're 3/4 of the way to 100.
Oh, man, that's great. Are we going to do a double-sized episode?
No, that would kill us.
Okay. It might kill our listeners, too, listening to us for one big, huge, long episode.
That is the truth. And speaking of our listeners, listeners, after last week when we had no reviews to talk about, they were amazing this week.
Came through for us big time.
We have 3 new reviews from 3 different countries.
Right, all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world.
Yeah.
So these are all reviews from iTunes. The first review is from the United States and a great listener named Neil Silverhawk. He gave us 5 stars out of 5, which is great, and he entitled his review entertaining and well-researched. For fans of classic new wave, this podcast is engaging and entertaining. Brian and Sarah are a good hang. They do their research and have a genuine love of the music. The most recent episodes covering side 1 of Rio helped me gain further appreciation of an album I've loved since my first copy back in 1984. With regard to lesser-known albums, the hosts provide a pathway of discovery. New Wave fans, you know who you are. Check this podcast out. So thank you very much, Neil. We appreciate that very much.
Yeah, that was a great review. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. And our next one is from another iTunes listener, 1B from Canada. And the review is titled Rio. So I guess I know what kind of brought them to listening.
That must be a Duran Duran fan.
Yeah, for sure. And the review is 5 stars, wonderful, and says, so many amazing episodes bringing back great memories. But the Rio episodes, they are your best yet.
That's awesome to hear because we were both kind of a little bit afraid of tackling Rio for some reason.
Yeah, we've been worried about this one for a while, and this is why it's kind of taken so long. But I think, as you can tell, we're also taking our time with it and discussing it. So I guess that's being well received, at least by 1B in Canada.
Yeah, thanks, 1B.
Yeah. So then our third review, which is the longest and the most recent, actually, is from Lumster in the UK. And it's titled Top Notch People Talking About Top Notch Music. Which
I love it.
Fantastic. And it is another 5-star review. And Lumster starts off by saying, when I was first introduced to this podcast by the Erasure Information Service, Brian and Sarah were at that time discussing The Innocents by, of course, Erasure. Before listening to that, I saw they had already reviewed many records within my adolescent record collection. So instead of listening to The Innocents straight away, I went back to hear earlier reviews on bands like Human League, Thompson Twins, Aha, Howard Jones, and of course, like me, their faves, Depeche Mode. Listening to them give many details on the band and making of a particular album and then in turn analyze each track in its minutest detail is a joy. And as the podcast has evolved, so has their quality of presentation and editing and production. Brian now inserts small excerpts to let the listener hear the smallest detail they are discussing, which is excellent. I am now listening to each podcast in order. Such is the pleasure I get from listening to them chat in their amiable but forensic way. My next podcast is part 1 of The Innocents, and I am coming around full circle. They are now reviewing Rio, and I will get there soon. But as a part of this review, I would like to thank Brian and Sarah for this podcast and would encourage others, old-ish, let's say, and young, to listen, as you will enjoy it and it may open your eyes to other great music that may have passed you by at the time. Thanks, guys. 5 record adapters from me.
That's a great review. That whenever I read that one, I was like super inspired.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to go tackle my notes for this second side of Rio, like with gusto.
Yeah. And how'd that work out for you?
Really well.
Oh, good. Yeah. Thank you, Lumpster. That was a wonderful, wonderful, very thoughtful review. We really appreciate it.
It turned our heads.
Yes, it did.
And because I am kind of an amateur detective, growing up, I read like 60 Hardy Boys books.
Oh, okay. Plus, you are a big fan of The Dark Knight Detective, Batman.
Oh, but yeah, that's true. I was able to piece together some facts, and I realized that Lumpster is probably Mark Lum, who we've been chatting with on Facebook for the past week or so.
Yeah, just recently he reached out to us on Messenger and sent us some really nice messages.
And he also sent us a really good idea that I liked a whole lot.
Yeah, and you jumped on that right away.
Yeah, I'm going crazy this week, just
You are.
overreacting to everything. Mark sent us the idea of, hey, wouldn't it be cool if in episode 2 of the podcast, whenever you're talking about side 2 of the record, if you started off by having the listeners give some input into like their memories of the record that we're talking about, you know, maybe just memories of they remember when they purchased it or how important it was to them or something that happened to them while they were listening to this record, which means a whole lot to them. It might be a nice way to kick off the second episode and get a little bit more, you know, listener content in the show instead of it being us all the time.
Right.
Have you guys have some input to the show. And I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, I agree.
So what I did, even though I'm not all that technologically capable, I think I set up, and we tested it out and it seems to work, I set up like a voicemail phone number for the show.
Right. Yes, on Google Voice.
Yes. So if you're in the United States, I guess you can, I guess you can call it anywhere in the world. It's just that international calls are a total pain, I would imagine. But if you're in the United States, it would be relatively easy. You could just pick it up and dial it on your cell phone.
Right.
Our number is 724-490-8324. And that is on our Facebook page now, too. I added it yesterday. So if you have any interest in that, it would be great. We can get it started next episode. Let us know something about Duran Duran Rio that has, you know, really impacted you in your life, or, you know, something about this album that makes it special to you. Yeah.
Share some memories with us. And some of you have already done that in writing, you know, in the messages that you sent us. If you feel like telling us about that in voicemail, that'd be even greater, and we can put you on the air.
That'd be awesome. And if you're out of the United States and somewhere else in the world and you want to do that, you can still send us an email and just tell me like, hey, I want this to go in the episode.
Right.
And we could just read your message.
Absolutely.
Because we don't want to exclude anyone just because it's kind of a pain to call the voicemail number.
Yeah.
Any message that we've had from people to date, I usually just sort of take it as like it's private for us.
Correct.
And don't really read things verbatim. But, you know, if you say this is for the album memories of Duran Rio, or if this is for the album memories of whatever, then we'll know you want it included in the show.
Yeah, I think it was a great idea because, you know, part of why we're doing this podcast is because we want to share our thoughts and memories with you guys. And then a lot of you have reached out in return, and to get you more involved in that, even by putting you in the podcast itself, I think is wonderful. So help us out with that if you'd like.
Hopefully it'll be fun. And you know what? This totally slipped my mind, Sarah. I didn't write any notes about this to remember to do this, but we have to do this.
What is it?
In the time since we last recorded an episode,
I know what you're going to say.
We drew a winner for the Summer of Sharing podcast.
We did indeed. And we did post that on Facebook, thankfully, because otherwise you guys would be wondering all this time who was the big winner. And we literally drew names out of a hat.
Yeah, we did.
Took a hat out of our closet. Brian folded up the names and put them in there. And I pulled one out and I read it. And the name was Terry Kemp.
That's right. Terry Kemp, who's a great guy that we've talked to a little bit over time. And he's all the way in Australia, I think. That's
right. I think he's the only guy I know that listens that's from Australia. So he's our biggest Australian fan.
And he's a great guy. And he picked 2 really awesome songs. We're going to record a special episode just for Terry.
Yes.
And get it to him. And we're going to talk about 2 songs that he selected.
Yes.
I put those songs on Facebook. Hopefully he didn't mind.
Yeah, I know. So now everyone's going to be jealous.
We've done a lot of research already about Frankie Goes to Hollywood Relax for him. And then we're also going to research and talk about The Winner Takes It All by ABBA.
Yeah, another great choice.
So that's what Terry wins for helping share and spread the word about our podcast.
Right.
So Terry, we didn't forget about it. We're still taking our notes on it. We're trying to sneak time for that here as we also take notes on Duran Duran.
Yeah. So it'll come to you soon.
Yep. And thank you very much again. We said thank you on Facebook, but thank you here to everybody who actually, helped spread the word on the show and took part in the contest.
All this stuff that you do to help us out is really appreciated. So
very true.
Thank you.
All right, so are you ready to flip the record and get into side 2 of Duran Duran's Rio?
Yeah, I think it's about time we do so.
All right. That means the first song on side 2 is a track, one of my favorites.
Oh, very good.
And this one is called New Religion.
What a great start to the second side of this album.
This is a great song.
Yeah, and this was actually a B-side. This was not a single released, but it was the B-side of The Reflex.
I actually never knew that. I have, for some reason, always assumed that this was a single.
It should have been.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't. No, but it's kind of interesting that they kind of reached back and used this as the single for The Reflex, which of course was on a later album.
Right.
Yeah, good choice. Good way to, for some people who might have missed this album, like us, maybe this was a good way to, what else was on Rio? Oh, maybe Rio? Yeah. Anyway, this song is so different from what we've heard so far. I think the beginning of it, which you didn't play, but if you listen to the very first notes of this song, it's so mysterious and otherworldly. Every time I would hear the first, say, 10 seconds of this song as I was listening to it, preparing for these episodes, I kept thinking it reminded me of something else, some other song, and I couldn't figure it out. And finally, today, just in time, I figured out what it is.
The Reflex, Politics of Dancing?
No, but that's a good comparison. I can see where you would say that. But actually, it reminds me of Darkness by the Human League.
Oh, okay.
And not necessarily the actual sounds being used, but just kind of this spooky, ominous vibe.
Like the atmosphere.
Yeah, because I think I keep using this word in my write-up on this song, spooky. I think of this as a very kind of a spooky, mysterious song.
I think that the song itself is spooky, but I think that introduction, that 35-second introduction with Nick's keyboards, I think that's cosmic. Like, when I hear that, I picture that being in like an 80s sci-fi movie.
Okay. Well, I say otherworldly feel. So yeah, that's also an aspect of it where it's kind of like in space, maybe. It's a space spooky movie.
Like an alien.
Yeah.
But I see it more of like a ship taking off or a ship landing and looking very impressive. And
okay.
Like maybe it could have been in The Last Starfighter, a movie that was not impressive. But is probably around the same time that I'm thinking.
Yeah. There's a lot of like mystical kind of sounding keyboards in here. And I think that is good. It's in keeping with the title of the song. You know, it's New Religion. So there's kind of like this mystical vibe going on.
Speaking of the vibe of the song, I read in Classic Pop magazine that the bass line of this track is inspired from the song Stay on Bowie's Station to Station album. Did you read that anywhere?
I did not see that. That's very cool, though.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere else, too. So I played Stay as I was taking notes and tried to focus on, am I hearing something similar to New Religion? Mm-hmm. But I listened to it twice, and both times I forgot what I was listening for. I just enjoyed the song because I love that song so much.
That's an awesome song.
That's my favorite Bowie album. So I can't really speak to whether or not it reminds me of Stay.
Yeah, and I didn't know to look for that. I somehow missed that. I would have to go back and listen to it. And just because it inspires you doesn't mean it's going to sound like that, though. John's interpretation of the Stay bass line could end up sounding completely different from the song.
True.
But it could be still his inspiration.
True. And speaking of John, he labels this song in his book a fan favorite, and he stresses how much fun he has playing this one live.
Well, I'll bet he does, because the bass in this is just fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the slap bass and the regular bass.
Maybe that fan favorite quality of the song is what made me think it was a single.
Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, just because we know the fans love it so much. And I think they have played this quite a few times in live performances.
Yeah, they have.
Besides these spooky keyboards, that we also get some really good guitar right off the bat. When we get the guitar and the bass, as we've mentioned before, nothing is like really overshadowing anything else. Because even as we get that guitar and that bass, there's that keyboard sound that's still slowly playing in the distance. That's like reverberating back in the background.
Much like on side one, everything on this album is blending really well together. It's really well produced. And that guitar that you mentioned, I really love the first moment that the guitar hits that note that it's playing at the end of that keyboard line. The guitar sounds awesome. John mentions in the book that this track actually started life without that introduction.
Oh, wow.
And that the song was slower and gloomier.
Oh, okay.
He says, I felt the writers and us stretching out on this one, giving each other room to speak. And I almost can't even imagine this song without that intro for two reasons. One, I love the intro. It sounds super great.
Right.
But also, the guitar sounds even better when it's introduced because it's coming in after that 35 seconds of synths.
Right.
All of a sudden, this guitar note being bent and like kicking off a neat little guitar line. Mm-hmm. It sounds so good. If the song started with that, it would still be good, but it wouldn't sound quite as good because you wouldn't have anything to compare it to.
Right. You don't have that build up and leading into it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's a good point.
That initial note is just thrilling to me when I hear it. I love that moment.
And how about the guitar and the instrumental break? You know, a lot of that is just some simple strumming, but there's some simple finger styling, but I really like that. And I think it adds a lot to that middle section of the song.
Yeah, I love the sounds that Andy Taylor is getting with his guitar throughout this entire song. And the lines he's playing sound awesome. But I'm going to say that this song is John Taylor's, one of his moments to shine.
I know.
Regardless of how much I love the guitar, the bass is, I think, the awesomest. The most awesome thing about this song.
The most awesomest part of the whole song. Yeah, let's just get into totally awesome 80s mood for sure.
But you're right to mention the bass and guitar together because other than that intro, Nick is very tastefully just adding atmosphere to this song, and he never again takes center stage in this one.
No.
It is Andy and John kind of driving this song.
Yeah, this is
with Roger.
more of a strings heavy, guitar heavy. That's kind of the wrong way to put it, but there is more emphasis on the guitar and the bass here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But yeah.
It's not guitar heavy like Def Leppard, but it's guitar heavy for Duran Duran, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And I'm really impressed with the vocals we get from Simon on this one.
Oh, yeah.
I realize he's doing things in multi-tracks and stuff, and he has the melody and the counter melody that he sings on top of each other. Some people call that a rap.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
I don't really consider it a rap, but the combination of that melody and counter melody I think is brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
And the hurried way in which he sings adds a lot to the atmosphere, that spooky atmosphere.
Right.
That's being created by Nick's synths.
Yeah, there's tension in that.
Yeah, right. His fast singing adds the tension and really raises the quality of the songwriting. The song is awesome. It's well written, but the way he's singing, if he came in here and lackadaisically sang some lyrics, it wouldn't add to that quality. In fact, it would work against it.
Correct. Yeah, it would kind of diminish it.
Yeah, he is helping the music achieve that atmosphere with how he is singing, which I love.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you saw that this song is described in the liner notes as a dialogue between the ego and the alter ego.
A dialogue between the ego and the alter ego.
Yes.
Yes. I saw that. I read it over and over in my head and said, is that really what they mean to say? I still am not sure. Okay, so ego is the part of your mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. That's the clinical, the scientific meaning of ego.
Yeah, that sounded pretty scientific.
It also means, like a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance.
Right.
Someone has a big ego. And then the alter ego, I guess in the dictionary, alter ego is a person's secondary or alternative personality. I always think of alter ego, I guess maybe because I read comic books. Batman is Bruce Wayne's alter ego or vice versa. Superman is Clark Kent's alter ego. Do they really mean to say this is like a conversation between the ego and the alter ego, or do they mean like between the ego and the id, or like something more scientific?
Yeah, it's probably closer to what you just said about the ego and the id, but it's definitely two sides of the same person having a battle with each other.
Right. And that is true. I'm asking these questions of which I didn't even bother to research id. Like I have no idea what that means.
I know.
As I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, I should have looked that up.
I think that it is like the more primal section is kind of just like focused on whatever, the lower, more base things.
They're probably completely right. And it's just that I'm used to alter ego meaning superheroes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, do they mean what they really are they saying what they mean?
This is not Batman and Bruce Wayne talking about each other. I would probably liken it closer to maybe when you see the cartoons with the angel on the one side and the devil on the other.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably more like that. I think you see that because the lyrics and the way they're delivered, there's definitely two sides. And I think, is it the case that the one side is always kind of doing that more faster delivery, which you don't want to call rapping, but I'm going to call rapping because it's easier to explain. And then the other side is the one that's always singing, like much more melodic and a slower, more controlled delivery. Do you think that those are the two different sides?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Sorry, in that sentence, I lost track that it started as a question.
Yeah, that's a question.
Yeah, no, yeah, that definitely is it.
Yeah, so the one side is like, and the other side's like,
And the reason I don't call it rapping is not because I'm against rap. It's just, it seems, even though it's fast, I still hear like a melody line to it. It seems musical to me. It wasn't just talking, so.
Yeah, I know.
I guess it can still be rap. It's just, I hear it as a melody.
Yeah, it's very melodic rapping.
Speaking about those vocals and stuff, this is an accessible pop track, which has a lot more to it if you want to take the time to study it. And a lot of that second layer comes from Simon's lyrics.
Right.
That he's singing. I think they're more impenetrable than his other lyrics that we've talked about.
Yeah, impenetrable. That's a great way to describe them.
But, I've known this one for a while, and I've sat here reading it as we're getting ready for the show, and it's really difficult to figure out what's happening. It's sinister.
Yeah.
It's dark. I can pick up on that, the surface level things. But I'm not sure what the story of this song or what he's trying to paint in our heads, what it really is.
Yeah.
And I could see like this song being put over top of the video for Night Boat.
Oh, okay.
Which is like all in the nighttime in this town. It's overrun by zombies, and it's actually kind of scary. The video of that mixed with the song here that we're talking about, I see that as a really good mix of multimedia.
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I wonder
if you haven't seen that, you have to watch that video.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone out on YouTube has thought to do that yet. Probably not. But yeah, the lyrics in this song, they're so poetic. I mean, you start off with him saying, "I've been now sauntering out and down the path sometime. Come on, it takes me nowhere, which I know." and that is, just a really clever and very poetic way of saying, yeah, I've been walking around and I don't really know where I am.
Yeah, I love how poetic it is. And then he goes, "Come on."
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it is very funny. And then I like the other line I really like is when he says his reasoning might be clouded by the sun, which I think definitely is the darker side of him saying that because it's clouded by the sun. Like that's obviously the opposite of what you would normally think the sun to do. But if you're like a vampire, right. Something like that, the sun is not a good thing. So yeah, I like that, kind of calling on the darker persona there.
And with all this stuff, like I said, I watched that video and then had that in my mind, and we're talking about vampires and things. I lost track of the fact that the song was called New Religion. And through a lot of my research for it. So then I went back and I was like, oh, wait a second. What is in here about religion? And I did find something that I thought was kind of neat when he says in the chorus, "I'm talking for free. I can't stop myself." I was like, oh, that could be a reference to like speaking in tongues.
Oh, that's true.
The more I read, the more I got confused trying to force like a religious storyline into this. But that was one thing that I did find very difficult to understand, I think. Yeah. And I did make an effort, folks.
I know you did. You tried. Gave it the old college try.
I'm more fat than smart these days.
Oh, jeez. We've been talking all about his lyrics and his vocals, but what about the musical instrument that Simon plays in this song?
What's that?
It's called the vibraphone.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I found that out, and Nick Rhodes confirms that Simon plays the vibes. That's another term for the vibraphone. So you may be wondering, what is a vibraphone?
What is a vibraphone?
Well, it's kind of like a xylophone or a marimba in that it's a set of bars that are struck with a mallet or mallets. But a vibraphone is a little more mechanical than the other two instruments. Both vibraphones and marimbas have what are called resonator tubes, and they're attached under the bars. They help to amplify the sound that's made when you strike them with a mallet, so like an echo tube. Well, on a vibraphone, these resonator tubes are fitted with butterfly valves at one end. So the airflow in the tubes can be adjusted, and that, of course, affects the sound. It gives them more of like a tremolo or a vibrato, because the butterfly valve is one of those like ones that kind of flutters open and shut, and they have a mechanism that kind of affects that, how fast it goes. And in addition to that, the vibraphone also has sustain pedals like a piano. So that allows you to adjust the length of sound. So if you have the pedals pressed, the sound is held for a longer time, longer sustain.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little more complicated than a xylophone or marimba. It gets a little bit of a different sound. And I guess they had it sitting around in the studio and they thought they should use it. That's one thing I read.
Musically, I think that this song has more than a little bit the sound of their debut album to it.
Oh, okay.
It's a little more complex than what they were doing on that first record, but it's like at least a second cousin or distant relative. And it's a nice change after, if you recall, at the end of side one, I was starting to pick up on a formula.
Yes.
I said with Hold Back the Rain.
Yep.
This song definitely mixes things up a bit.
Yep. I thought you would be pleased by this because it is definitely a departure from what we heard on the first side.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I was thinking during the week that like maybe they could have. I think side 2, we're going to get the majority of the songs on side 2 are going to be very different from what we hear on side 1, and it could have been mixed. The track listing could have been mixed in a different way to spread the variety throughout the record.
I see.
But at the end of the day, I wasn't sure that I wanted them to do that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that, I guess.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that too, but I will share them later. I don't know exactly what was happening at this time, but I do know that this song was written on August 27th, 1980.
Yeah, a very early one. So it was written probably at the same time as those songs from their first album.
Right. Yeah. This was definitely very early on.
That's right. And like I said, I think you can hear that. That's part of the reason it sounds different than what has come before it on this record.
Yeah. One other note I will mention about this song, the Carnival mix is completely different because it eliminates most of these vocals.
And it eliminates the very cool keyboard introduction.
Yeah, so I think that this is one instance where Carnival actually did the song disservice.
Oh, yeah.
It actually didn't make the song better. You know, a lot of the Carnival remixes we're talking about were what got the interest sparked in America. This wasn't the case.
Yep, exactly. And I have no Simon lyrics for this one. Lyrics that only Simon would write. Because the whole song is distinctively Simon.
That's right. Yeah. It's like, how do you pick anything out?
I was like, I'm not even going to try.
Well, I gave you a couple examples of ones I thought were pretty
those were good.
So I think we kind of covered that anyway.
And there was no video, even though we did talk about some songs that weren't singles that had videos.
Right.
This one had no video, which I think is sad because they really could have come up with something special for this one, something dark. And if they'd put their heart into it, I'm seeing like fog and shadows and sinister pursuits and black and white film. It could have all come together for something really neat.
Oh, sure.
But I guess maybe they kind of did all that, like I said, with Nightboat already, and it would just sort of be repeating itself.
Yeah. And, even though they seem to have a pretty good budget, they still had a budget. So they couldn't just make a video for every single song.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, you know what?
What?
Let's do Sarah's secret song snippet right now.
Oh, okay. Let's do it.
Just to keep people on their toes.
Sure. Why not? Keep them guessing.
So you have a song for this week?
Well, I do. Yeah, I sent it over to you.
How do you feel about it?
Oh, I feel like probably this one's another one where people are going to get it right away.
All right, then let's get to it.
All you have to do is send us a message somehow. Facebook, Twitter, email. And tell us the song title and the artist. If you are the first person to correctly identify both the song title and the artist, you will become Sarah's secret song snippet star of the week.
All right, that sounds great. So here is the song snippet.
Yeah, I'm sure that we will get a lot of answers for this, and they will happen quickly. I may have been too easy on you guys this time.
It's only like half a second long, but it is kind of easy.
Yeah, that's enough, I think.
Yep. All right, so let's move on to track 2 on side 2.
Let's do so.
And this song is called Last Chance on the Stairway. All right, Last Chance on the Stairway is one of 4 songs recorded a year earlier when they recorded, at the same time they recorded that early single version of My Own Way.
Oh, okay.
Unlike My Own Way, however, Last Chance on the Stairway made it onto Rio without any changes or updates. So this is the version that they recorded a year earlier.
Wow.
In parts of this song, I can sort of hear sort of a similarity to that My Own Way song as well.
Oh, interesting.
Just a little tiny bit.
Okay.
Every now and again. And I think you can also hear in that song, compared to a lot of what we're talking about here, you can hear that it's earlier and that it comes from before, like the growth spurt that they seem to have experienced as writers. This song doesn't seem as complex or quite as polished as, Hungry Like the Wolf or Lonely in Your Nightmare or Rio. This seems like a much more basic song.
Okay, that's interesting that you say that. I think this song really reminds me of Rio.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it does. I hear a lot of similarities to Rio.
I didn't hear that at all.
Rio puts me in mind of bright primary or neon colors. And the verses in this song are kind of more like muted pastels, but they're still very cheerful and upbeat, just in a more dreamy kind of way. But then we get the chorus, which definitely is different from the chorus in Rio because it shifts into a minor key. But in the middle section, where there's the guitar solo, I think you can almost sing the chorus of Rio there.
Oh, really?
I think you can. I think the way that I don't know if it's the chord progression or if it's just the tempo or what. I mean, the tempo of the song is very similar to Rio. I think that might be part of why I think it's very close, but it's a little bit edgier cousin, I think, to Rio.
Well, I do like the song quite a bit. It's a good 80s pop song with a fun chorus, but I don't think that it holds up to Rio.
Well, it's definitely not as iconic as Rio, but I really do enjoy the sounds and the atmosphere in this song. I really like those swirly phasing keyboards that are throughout the song. And again, that's something that Nick does to keep everything tied together, because we do, again, get a lot more guitar in this song too.
It does have a really good atmosphere. I think your use of the word dreamy is spot on. It does have a very wispy, kind of dreamy atmosphere to it.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that this song kind of has two parts to it, two phases to it, two aspects to it, because the verses are very pastel and dreamy. And then the chorus is much more hard, and he's almost like he's yelling at himself, and he's trying to get the courage up to do something about this person he's been dreaming about. And because the chorus is minor chords, it's got E minor, G, B minor, F sharp, a lot of minor chords in there. But
I agree. I like you saying that the verses are dreamy. I can't picture this chorus as being hard, or you said like a word earlier. I can't think of what adjective it was. Edgy. This has no edge to it. It doesn't sound hard to me. It's just faster. He's singing it fast.
Well, yeah.
It is so 80s pop, this song. it has no edge to it, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. The staccato delivery of, "Can you look at me?" Like, that's very harsh. Like, he's like frustrated, and that's the vibe I get from it.
This song is really atmospheric, and one of the things along with the music that makes it atmospheric is some of these little sound effects or like sound snippets that they put in the music that is not like a musical instrument. And we're going to have that a couple times on this side of the record.
Right.
The beginning of this song starts with a cigarette being lit from a lighter, and I think that's really interesting. The sound of a cigarette being lit and the lighter or discussion of that always makes me think of the pre-credit sequence to the James Bond movie On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Really?
Because there's just Peter Hunt really effectively. Now, I'm trying to resist doing a James Bond podcast.
Oh, yeah?
But Peter Hunt really effectively, they're hiding the new actor's face by showing his hands as he lights the cigarette, showing the cigarette in his mouth. It's done really, really well. And I'm not trying to go into a James Bond podcast. I'm fighting it this whole time because Duran Duran has a history with James Bond.
That's right.
I came into this really wanting to talk about Bond, and I've resisted for 3 episodes now. So I'm trying to be good.
Good job. But yeah, you're right. That is a very cool effect at the beginning, the lighting of the cigarette. And it was not a sampled sound. It was like a real sound.
You mean one of these boys smokes cigarettes?
Well, or maybe they just lit one for the effect.
Okay, I'd like to think that.
Heavens, yeah, that'd be awful if they smoked.
So I think this is another great track from Andy. His guitar playing here on the second side is really impressing me.
Oh, yeah.
This one even more so than New Religion. He's getting great sounds, I think.
Yeah.
And playing really enjoyable guitar lines.
Mm-hmm. And I mentioned, I love that solo in the middle section. It's really good.
Yeah, I actually have a snippet of it to talk about. In the verses, he's playing some like finger style, like picking notes and stuff that sounds like electric bells or something. And then the chorus brings us like the power chords that we're kind of used to him.
Yeah.
And after the marimba,
yes,
he provides a very tasty solo. I really like it.
Oh, cool.
Can we talk about the musical break in this song?
Let's do it.
Can we do that now?
Sure.
Because we can get the sound out of the way then.
We'll talk about the marimba, we'll talk about the guitar, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we get 3 things of note in the musical break to me. We get the marimba.
Yes.
Do you like that?
I do. Nick Rhodes confirmed it is a real marimba, and he played it.
Okay, well, I thought when I first said, hey, there's a marimba in this, that's crazy. It sounds really good in the song. Then after the marimba, we get a short synth part that to me doesn't really sound like a keyboard that Nick would have chosen for this album. It stands out to me because the sound that he picks sounds like something less cool than Duran Duran. Like I can see Philip Bailey and Phil Collins saying like, where's our keyboard? Someone stole our keyboard. We're trying to record Easy Lover.
Oh, wow.
So I have that in the sample. And then from that keyboard, very brief keyboard sound, it goes into this great guitar.
Yeah, where I think you could sing along with Rio.
So here's a little sample of all 3 of those things. I just have a little bit of each of them.
Excellent.
And I think in the end there, you get the sound of like inhaling on a cigarette. Did you hear that?
Yeah. I think you do. Yeah, that was great. And we didn't even mention something I have written down here, but you definitely just heard it. The tom-toms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the tom-toms make a really nice addition to that middle section, and I think they go really well with the marimba. We haven't really talked about Roger Taylor's drumming yet on this song.
Yeah, on this side we haven't mentioned him, and I don't mention him too much in my notes. We did,
No.
I know, last week.
But the drumming in this song is really good, and I really like the addition of the tom-toms there. Really fast and add a nice little layer there that you didn't expect.
Yeah, he's a great drummer. He is my second favorite drummer named Roger Taylor.
Yeah, imagine that.
John Taylor, he is back again, stealing the show to my ear.
Oh, yeah.
Last time it was kind of neck and neck with him and Simon because of the two-party vocals there in the song.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, Simon's just doing like a standard vocal, so John is able to sneak ahead and steal the spotlight.
Yeah.
When I hear what he's doing with the bass, I'm thinking that John Taylor is probably my favorite bass player of all time.
Wow.
And it's crazy because when we started doing this podcast, we've mentioned this before, I didn't really pay any attention to bass.
Yeah.
I mentioned that especially in the Fix episode that I did. Now I try to listen to bass players and things, and so many bass players are just like, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, or every now and again, like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
John Taylor is all over the place.
He
He's
really
like,
is.
He's either my favorite bass player or Peter Hook.
Oh, wow.
They both play, it seems like they
Much
treat
more melodic.
more melodic. They treat their instruments and their whole thought about bass playing differently than other people. Like to them, the bass is a standalone instrument that should draw attention to itself and is worthy of being creative.
Yeah.
Rather than just bump, bump, bump. And I like that so much.
Now, I didn't know where he got his inspiration from the last song, but I actually have information on where he got his inspiration for this song.
Oh, cool.
He says, the way I remember that song coming into focus was listening to Roxy Music's Same Old Scene.
Ooh.
I think that was the inspiration for the groove, and the chorus, if my memory serves me, was nicked from Debbie Harry's solo track, Backfired, which, as I'm sure you all remember, was produced by
Nile Rodgers.
and Bernard.
Yep.
So,
My man, you're playing it backfire.
So it's interesting to hear that because, as we know, they went on later to work with Nile Rodgers, and so kind of a neat connection.
And speaking of John's bass,
Yes.
you know what I really like about his bass? I just said how his bass is complex, his playing is complex and creative and stuff. Mm-hmm. In the last 20 seconds of the song,
Yeah.
it completely stops being creative. Like there's a point as it's fading out, and they're just singing "Last Chance on the Stairway."
Yep. Right.
He just starts playing quarter notes, like he's doing all this stuff, and then there's a point where he just goes boom, 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 and he changes the note every measure or so, but it stands out. And it's interesting because he hasn't played like that on most of the album.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he just hits you here for 20 seconds of this kind of playing. And you're like, whoa, that's kind of cool.
It's kind of simple. It's kind of like what we don't expect from you because you usually do something more complicated, but it goes very well. Like you said, with the chanting at the end, it kind of emphasizes that very staccato delivery and the very rapid fire delivery of the rest of the song.
Yeah, exactly. He's smart enough to know that simple style works really well with what the rest of the song is doing there.
Right.
Yeah, it's very cool. Mm-hmm. And after a really difficult Simon lyric with the last song, we get one of his easiest lyrics on the album.
Well, yeah. Yeah, this is not too hard to really understand what's going on. It's about a girl he's interested in, and I think he's afraid to approach her.
It's all about desire. Mm-hmm. Throughout most of the song, I didn't really get the sense that he had a relationship with a woman. It was like he wanted her.
Yeah.
But then near the end, he says, it doesn't seem right that we fight. And that sort of confused me. Because the rest of the time, I didn't really think they had established a relationship.
He's just kind of dreaming about her. Yeah, that's a good point. It kind of throws a wrench in there.
Yeah. And the disappointing thing is that by the end of the track, we don't really know what he made of his last chance on the stairway. We don't know if he was successful or if he bombed out.
Right.
That's a little disappointing.
We'll never know.
So this track, to me, it sounds a little more polished than a lot of the songs on the album. And I think that's maybe also part of the reason why I hear this as one of the more disinteresting tracks so far. But like I said, I do like it quite a bit. It's just more of a standard 80s pop song.
Okay.
Than some of the energy that I was getting off of some of the earlier tracks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about it? Do you hear a noticeable difference in this song than the other ones?
I honestly don't. I think this is very much in line with what we've been hearing. As I mentioned, I really think I can compare it to Rio in certain aspects. Mm-hmm. I really like that dreamy atmosphere it has in the verses. I will maintain that I think there's a difference between the verses and the chorus. You're saying it's not as big as I'm making it out to be, but that's a matter of opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that this song is any less produced or any more produced than anything else.
Fair enough.
The one other thing I want to mention about this song is, and this is why I mentioned on the last song, that New Religion was written on August 27th, 1980. This song was written on August 27th, 1981.
Oh, wow.
Well, exactly 1 year later.
Wow.
I don't know what they were doing that day, but it was always a day for Simon to write a song, I guess.
Well, speaking of Simon, I have a few Simon lyrics for this one.
Oh, good.
Just a few. Funny, it's like a scene out of Voltaire twisting out of sight. Maybe it's something said in a movie, or you could have said last night.
Uh-huh.
I like the reference to Voltaire, and I also like that instead of trying to fix the line because he had too many syllables in it, he just left words out. Maybe it's something said in a movie, or you could have said last night.
Yeah.
It seems a little awkward. And then I also have, and sometimes I'm caught in a landslide, my beats so in time. Can you look at me?
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I liked it.
Yeah.
And once again, there's no video for this track.
Nope.
But every time I listen to it, because of the image of the last chance on the stairway,
Yeah.
I keep picturing the video for Queen's It's a Hard Life in my head.
Really?
When Freddie is frolicking on that big fancy stairway in that prawn costume. So I would like to see a video where Simon interacts with Freddie in that costume on a stairway.
Oh my. There's an image wow. That's really something. The only thing I conjure up in my head is him wearing the suit from Rio with the blue shirt, and he's in a stairwell, and he's like running up and down it looking for this girl.
Oh, okay.
And that's it, which would be a very boring video. So I'm glad they didn't make that one.
All right, so that brings us up to a very famous single.
Indeed.
One of the immortal Duran Duran singles.
Absolutely.
A track called Save a Prayer.
You don't have to dream it all, just live a day. Don't say a prayer for me now. Save it till the morning after. No, don't say a prayer for me now. Save it till the morning after.
Such a beautiful song. I love that song. And this has a bit of an interesting release history because in the UK it was released in August of 1982. It was the third single to be released. But in the United States, it took them 3 years to finally release this song. But it was released in the UK and in Ireland and other countries back in August. And it did very well. It was the highest charting single from Rio in the UK. It got all the way to number 2. And you know what held it out? You know why it did not get to number 2? Or to number 1?
You can't unseat Rocky.
No, I guess not. He's the champion.
He had the eye of the tiger.
That's right.
I remember seeing Rocky 3 in the theater and like kids getting up in the aisles and dancing and stuff when that song came on. Everybody
Really?
loved it.
Oh my gosh.
I was surprised to see that they loved it that much in the UK.
Yeah, I didn't see Rocky 3 in the theater.
You're better off.
Yeah, so this song was amazingly popular in the UK, almost good enough to be number 1. Well, it was good enough to be number 1, just didn't get there.
Without a doubt.
And it was also number 2 in Ireland. So that was cool. When it finally did get released in the United States, it got to number 16. So not too bad.
Yeah, and it also did really well in France and Brazil. It was a number 1 song in both of those countries. And number 16, there's nothing to be embarrassed about over that, although I was surprised that it was only number 16. I thought it was a top 10 hit. In John's book, he says that the live version charted in January in the US, but what I'm seeing on Billboard.com is that there was a live version as the B-side to the single, but that the single was the studio version that charted. I guess I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, it's weird. I saw that the B-side was the original UK single versions. This came out with Arena in 1980.
Oh, well then I guess it does make sense that the live version, but Billboard doesn't signify it as being a live version. They just say Save a Prayer.
Yeah, that's
so
weird.
then John would be right, I guess.
Okay, I guess John might know.
Yeah, I guess he would.
Yeah. So I do have a couple of reviews of this song, and one of them is a very cool one because it's by Neil Tennant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I love when we can find the Neil Tennant reviews from Smash Hits because it's so cool to think of him as a reviewer and a critic.
I know.
Before he was a musician himself. So this is from the August 19th to September 1st edition from 1982. And he says, dropping their usual top 20 bounce, Simon and the boys hold back the tears with a bravely romantic ballad. Listen with a stiff upper lip.
I can picture him saying that.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
I have a review from crypticrock.com.
Oh, very cool.
And they say the penultimate track on the album was the haunting ballad that launched not only 1,000 lit candles, lighters, or cell phones, but also millions of screaming fans and adoring music enthusiasts all around the world.
Yep. I have one more from thoughtco.com. Early 80s new wave and synth pop simply never witnessed more luxurious textures than those conceived by Duran Duran, particularly on this achingly beautiful genuinely moving track. The quintet's best music simply transports the listener to a place in the manner of a vacation destination that makes us question why we can't go there more often than just the brief reprieves we're afforded.
That's cool. Yeah, they do have such good textures to their songs, and
Yeah.
particularly this one. And thequietest.com, one of my favorite music websites, they said in 2012, records like Rio are herded away into the hinterland of arty indie backwaters, where the likes of Clock Opera, Simian Ghost, or Theme Park would sell their grandmothers to write a song like Save a Prayer. And they also mentioned that it was Save a Prayer that marked Duran Duran out as musicians with serious intent over a gorgeous swirl of electronica, a lush proto-ballad developed into a seminal pop song.
Very nice.
I like these modern day reviews.
Yeah.
When, you've picked all your nits for years and now we're finally like acknowledging like how good this album is.
That's
and
right.
How talented the band is.
Yeah. Not just a bunch of pretty faces.
That's right. And in John's book, he says that this song began with Andy and Nick, who were probably the furthest away from each other in terms of musical temperament, picking out the chords together, building the most delicate and complex of sequencer tracks to date.
Wow.
The rest of the song was hung upon that frame.
Oh, very nice. And yet, what is one of the very first things we hear in this song? The bass line. Of course, we get the synths first, but then, it's not too long before we get that really warm and round bass sound in there.
Yeah, the bass in here, once again, I'm just going to be a broken record. The bass is awesome. But like I say in my notes, John's bass line is great, but in this rare event, his efforts dropped to third most notable for me.
What?
He's doing a great job, though.
Well, that's good. Make sure you don't let him down.
Nope.
Make sure you still like us.
But evidently, there are a couple aspects of this song that impressed me even more than John this time.
Well, then I need to hear about that.
I say Simon and the sequencers rule the day here.
Oh, wow.
Nick finishes a distant second with the additional keyboard lines he plays, and Simon I think he does a wonderful job on the vocals on this one. I think this is probably one of his strongest vocals. Lonely in Your Nightmare is probably his best, but I think this is second best.
Wow. Yeah, his vocals are very good here. He adds the yearning, but then it's also very controlled at points.
Yeah, I like that you brought up the yearning. His singing on You Wanted to Dance, so I Asked You to Dance, that part, that is probably my favorite recorded moment in all of Duran Duran history. His vocal in that part is amazing.
Yeah.
And when you hear it, it instantly transforms you back to the old days. Mm-hmm. His voice is amazingly strong. The melody of that part is awesome. Mm-hmm. The accompaniment is very dramatic. It's just a perfect bit of songwriting and performing.
Yeah, it's very emotional, but not so much that it sounds overdone or ridiculous or schmaltzy.
Right. I said some good things about the keyboards, which is no surprise.
Yeah.
The second keyboard sound that comes in the beginning, you get that initial keyboard, the famous one, and then one comes in over top of it, and it sounds like what I imagine whale songs to sound like.
Yeah, I keep thinking of marine life when I hear this song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too, the whole way through.
Yeah.
And that adds to the atmosphere.
Yeah, some of it's like seagulls maybe, or some of it's like whales, and I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely got a oceany vibe to it.
Yeah, definitely. And in terms of the atmosphere, I just mentioned atmosphere. I think that's what Andy's job is on this song, more so than any other track on the album. He takes a back seat.
Yeah,
and it's here. His guitar is here the whole way through.
Yeah,
but he is working to build an atmosphere and not to bring attention to himself.
I say the exact same thing. I would say the guitar takes a back seat here, but not to say that it isn't needed and not noticed. But it again, they really know how to place things in a way that they are still there, but not overpowering.
I would miss him if he wasn't on the record, but he doesn't really draw your ear to his direction.
Now, did you happen to notice this? And that's not all the way through, but there's parts of this song where one thing I thought was very prominent, at least in my headphones, is the tapping of Roger's drumsticks.
Yes.
Almost like a metronome. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we hear that on other songs.
This side has a bunch of songs that have little neat percussion hits, just little tiny short snippets of things that are kind of cool. Like this one has that. There's the sticks being hit.
Yeah.
The next song has a little bit of crazy electronic percussion
that
we'll talk about. They're doing a lot of neat percussion stuff. And as I was doing my notes, I realized I was not giving Roger enough credit because I am pretty impressed by things that I'm hearing on this side. And it's not impressed because he's hitting lots of drums really fast and being exciting. It's because of the creativity of little things that he's doing.
Yeah, sometimes it's just, very minimalist, but it's exactly what's needed for that part of the song at that time.
Yeah.
This is another song that is inspired by another song. I mentioned this back in, I guess it was the last episode. We talked about the Gordon Lightfoot song, If You Could Read My Mind.
Oh, right.
And we talked about Hungry Like the Wolf, the doo-doo-doo-doos. Those were inspired by that. This is the other song that Simon said was inspired by If You Could Read My Mind.
Really?
He says that the chorus is a variation on that song. have to go back and listen to that snippet again. Or
I've been singing that Gordon Lightfoot song all week
well,
around the house.
Yeah, I know. I know.
If you could read my mind.
I'm not going to try to sing along to you, but if you think about it, I think you can hear some of the similarities.
I'll have to check it out.
It's another one that's it's inspired by, not copied off of.
Maybe I'll ask Mr. Lightfoot when we go see him next month.
Oh yeah, why don't you see if you can do that?
We got tickets to see Gordon Lightfoot because we've been singing so many of his songs after talking about him here on this podcast.
Yeah. I was like, oh well, you know this one and this one. Oh yeah. I said, did you know he's playing in November nearby? What? Oh, let's go.
Yep, so we're going.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll be fun.
I'm going to get him to sign my copy of Rio.
Oh, gosh.
Speaking of songs that influenced this song,
Yes.
do you know the story of the song that was influenced by this song that Andy Taylor appeared on?
I don't think I do.
I could have said that a lot better.
Okay.
Let me explain.
Do you want to try it again?
Let me explain it this way. In 2016, an artist named Thomas Gandy, featuring Andy Taylor, released a cover of this song as a teaser for an album they were working on together at the time. And Thomas Gandy said that the album was going to feature remakes of Andy's seminal hits along with new music. And I'm pretty confident that it never came out because I can't find any other songs from it. I can't find it on Amazon. I went to Gandy's website and it doesn't seem like there's anything like that listed under his albums.
Oh, okay.
So it seemed like maybe they didn't finish.
Oh.
But they did release a remake of this song. It sounds like this.
Well, I started off like, ew, I don't like this too much. But as it went along, I kind of got more into it and I kind of liked it a little better.
Yeah, I like it. It's just weird. Andy doesn't have time to be in Duran Duran, doesn't like those guys, but then he goes off and kind of redoes old songs that they had written together.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I kind of liked as you got into the chorus there with the acoustic guitar behind there.
Yeah.
I like that.
That sounded good.
Yeah. I'm usually open to, covers and other interpretations. This song is so good. I hate to see anyone try to do it. And I think that was, it's okay. I'd have to hear the whole thing and hear it maybe more than once, I guess.
Yeah. And another song that I think may have been inspired by this song is another Duran Duran song.
Oh, really?
So did you know, Sarah, that in 2011, the band released an album called All You Need Is Now?
I do know that. I am very aware of that album. I think it's a wonderful, awesome album.
So that was their 13th album.
Okay.
When they went into the studio, I think with Mark Ronson, I think that one was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Part of their mission statement was they set about creating an album that could have been like a follow-up to Rio.
Yes, I remember that.
They tried to get into that same mindset. This is the lost album that could have come out after Rio. And there's a song on that album, which is really good. It's called Leave a Light On.
Oh, yeah, I love that song.
Ever since we've gotten that record, I've never seen anyone address this, but to me, it sounds like a sequel to Save a Prayer, or that it was heavily inspired by Save a Prayer.
Okay.
So that's what I always think of it as, like part 2 of Save a Prayer. So this is just a snippet of that song, which I think is, there's no proof to this. I'm just saying this. I think
okay.
I think it's a sequel.
If I wait a lifetime, I know, I swear, if you leave a light on for me, I'll come there. You can leave a light on for me.
Yeah, I think I can see where you're coming from with that. I think we kind of get that oceanic sound, the marine sound, and obviously it's a ballad type song. So yeah, really pretty song.
Yeah, that's a gorgeous song. That's a great album.
Oh yeah, one of my favorites of their newer releases.
All right, so we need to talk about the video. Before we do, I'll just tell you my lyrics only Simon would write.
Yeah.
I don't really have too many.
Okay.
I just have this. I just read my first one and it cracked me up again.
Okay.
I never really knew what he said, evidently. Feel the breeze deep on the inside, look you down into your well.
Whoa.
weird.
That is really strange.
That one I just listed because it was funny and I didn't know it. This one I think really sounds like Simon. I try to hold the rising floods that fill my skin. Don't ask me why. I'll keep my promise. Melt the ice.
Oh, yeah.
That's totally Simonish.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Only Simon would write that.
All right, so that brings us up to the video.
Ah, the video.
Save a Prayer, the video.
Yes, indeed.
So what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's a lovely video, and it's another Russell Mulcahy classic, another one filmed in Sri Lanka, another one that really helped cement their reputation as being like jet-setting playboys and, people out in exotic locales having a great time.
That is what people say about Duran Duran. That's what they were known for.
Yeah.
I wasn't too impressed by this video, though. This one, to me, seemed rather boring. It wasn't as boring as Lonely in Your Nightmare.
Well, yeah.
That was really boring. But it wasn't really all that exciting. I mean, one of the first things we get in the video is like a 35-second slow zoom on Simon lounging on a sofa as he's lip-syncing the first verse.
Yeah.
And it feels like it takes over a minute to get there.
Yeah, because it's the zooming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes on forever. It's really slow.
I don't know. I liked the beach imagery of this. I liked how it started off. It really started off with a silhouetted figure walking towards a boat on the shore, and it's kind of like I don't know if it's sunset or sunrise. The picture from that, I think, ends up being the single cover, which is, of course, done by Malcolm Garrett. It's a nice tie-in with the video. Oh, yeah, that's the guy walking to the boat.
Yeah.
I think it's a ballad. What do you expect? You're not going to get an action sequence. I don't know. I'm okay with the fact that there's not much of a story here. It's just fun to watch them on the beach, and I like seeing John Taylor playing the acoustic guitar and the children on the beach and that whole thing. It's just enjoyable. Yeah, I mean, there's no story.
No, there's no story. And I enjoyed seeing shots of the ocean. I always enjoy that. Nature photography is nice to look at. But I think, yes, it is a ballad, but even if it's a ballad, it could be filmed a little more interestingly. It could be edited a little bit more creatively. I don't know. Even the things that are interesting in it, like when they're with elephants and things like that, those are the high points, I think. They don't save it 100%, though. And of course, there's a very famous story about the elephants.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of them. Quite a few stories, actually, about the making of this video, because there's a lot of things that happened during this video that got written down and remembered.
Okay.
The first one was about poor Andy Taylor.
Yeah.
Poor Andy Taylor. Well, he had been drinking. Surprise, surprise. And he was playing air guitar on this branch. And because he wasn't completely sober, he fell off the branch and he fell face first into the water. And when he did that, well, he swallowed some of that water.
Ugh.
And he says in his autobiography, "Wild Boy, My Life in Duran Duran, falling into a lake that's been used as an open toilet by elephants is not a pleasant experience."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But it wasn't because he fell that he ended up in the hospital, but
Right.
because he drank that water. He didn't actually feel the effects until about a week later. They were already on tour in Australia. He says, "I was feeling hot and sweaty on stage in Sydney when I was suddenly doubled up by excruciating stomach cramps. I managed to play to the end of the set, but during the encore, I had to go quickly dash behind an amp where I was violently ill."
Yeah.
Yeah, and things got worse.
Ugh.
He ended up in the hospital.
They thought he had malaria at first.
Yeah, they thought he had malaria. A lot of people still seem to say that on the internet, but then they just decided that it was just some kind of a non-specific tropical virus he picked up from the dirty water in the lagoon. Never really knew what it was. We knew why it happened for sure. So that was one sad story from that.
He went through so much there, so much trauma. I'm going to give him a pass on re-recording Save a Prayer.
Oh, okay.
He needed to make the song his own again.
So I have another story.
Okay.
Do you have any more?
No.
Okay. Well, I have another story about the filming of this where they were on the elephants. A female elephant made a strange sound, and one of the crew recorded that sound, and then they found it funny enough to play back. Well, it turned out that was the elephant's mating call. So Roger Taylor was on top of this elephant, and this elephant started charging downhill, and that was the male elephant, and he heard the female elephant and trying to go down and get with the other elephant. Nick Rhodes, of course, was there too, and he says it was funny as hell, but quite hairy for a moment. And despite all that, Roger Taylor says this is his favorite early video. He says, "I think it achieves the perfect harmony of music and visuals. Plus, I didn't have to dangle a dead crab from my big toe," which I liked.
That's funny.
Yeah.
The only thing that I really, really like about this video is I'm really intrigued by how Andy's pants were like 3/4 length down his legs and then had cuffs at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I really want to have pants like that.
You could probably do that.
Well, no, I can't. I tried to find them. Remember we saw that guy at the beach who had them?
Oh, yeah.
I got those really long shorts.
Yeah.
But they're not quite as long as, what do you call those pants?
Capris?
Capris. Yeah, they're not as long as capris.
Okay.
And now I think these days capri pants sort of have like a flared end, or
Well, they
I'm not sure
can.
what the word is. They don't cuff them like they did in
No.
the 80s.
No.
I would either want them cuffed or like really like bell bottom.
Oh my gosh. All right. I like the clothes in this video. I like it better when when Simon decides to put a shirt on underneath his jacket. You know, there's a lot of jacket wearing without shirts going on.
Didn't John do that?
Yeah, I
Hungry
think,
like the wolf?
Yeah. So, because, part of the time when Simon's lounging around on this couch, he's got no shirt on. But I
Right.
guess it's really hot there. So, they got to put something on, got to look presentable.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
later he's in a Speedo. So he's definitely not wearing very much there.
No. Well, unlike Hungry Like the Wolf in Rio, which they filmed on the same trip, I don't think they used the setting to their advantage all that well in this. I know you just said Roger Taylor thinks it's their best one and you like it. I don't know. I didn't. Maybe I watched a bad, old-looking version. Maybe if I had a more vibrant...
Well, I don't know. Yeah, and it's
Color.
interesting because there is definitely a split between like the sunset or sunrise scenes, and then there's scenes where they're on top of those ruins, and the temples, and it's like very bright and sunny and big puffy clouds and a very different kind of atmosphere and a look to it. It almost doesn't go together, and yet I still like it.
It's not anywhere near the worst video I've ever seen.
Oh, no. And, the cool part when they're on that cliff structure surrounded by the temple, that reminds me of Shout by Tears for Fears, which of course came later. But, I'm sure that lots of other people were inspired by this video because it always looks really cool to have aerial shots of people up on cliffs or plateaus.
True.
That just looks really cool.
So true.
So, and it does. For all the other things you can say about that video, the aerial shots do look good.
All right, and that brings us up to the last track.
Oh, my goodness. Already.
Yeah, there's only 4 songs on this side.
Okay.
All right, so the last song seems supposedly everyone loves this song.
Okay. Fan favorite.
Fan favorite. This is a track called The Chauffeur.
I'm watching lovers part. I feel you smiling. What gas splinters lie so deep in your mind? To tear from your eyes with a thought to stiff and brooding lies. And I'll only watch you leave me further behind. When the sun drips down.
So John says in his book that this song was a, quote, curveball. It was created out of nothing by Nick during a studio all-nighter with Colin, and that would be Colin Thurston, the producer.
Okay.
Simon responding with lyrics out of his Dog Days book. The Chauffeur has become a gothic classic in itself and is one of our most covered songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of neat that it was supposedly created out of nothing. But then I remembered that just in our first episode of this retrospective on Duran,
Yes.
we played a snippet of an early acoustic version of this song.
Oh, okay.
So I guess it didn't spring from nothing.
No.
But it sprang from an acoustic demo that they had. And I guess maybe one night Nick just said, like, I'm going to completely synthesize this little acoustic song that we have.
It is. I think the acoustic version and this version are very, very different.
Oh, extremely.
But, they had the same, I guess they had the same bones.
Yeah. So there's, of course, the famous story about this song that every website talks about and every book talks about. So we'll get it out of the way here really fast. They were all working at a club called Rum Runner. They were the house band there at the club, and they each had little jobs that they did during the day so they could hang around there, and their band managers owned the club and stuff. We'll talk, if we do their first album at some point down the road, we'll talk about that more in detail. It just wasn't applicable here. One of the barmaids there at that bar said, hey, I know someone who you should talk to about being the singer in your band.
Right.
And so Simon, he arrives and he has pink leopard skin pants on. And he is carrying with him this book, a notebook, and it's filled with song lyrics that he had written over the years, tons of lyrics and stuff. He eventually gets the job, and part of the reason he gets the job is because his lyrics were so good. And these lyrics for The Chauffeur were actually already written in his book of lyrics.
Yeah, and I read that this was the oldest song on the album. It was written in 1978, and supposedly he wrote this while on a kibbutz in Israel.
Really?
Yeah, which I didn't even know he would have gone to one of those, but that's what I saw. So maybe that's true.
Now, another thing Simon brought to this song is he played a really weird instrument on this one.
Oh, yes, he did. I have information on that as well. He played the ocarina.
Ocarina, and I saw a picture of one. It looks like like a duck's head.
Yeah,
Or it looks like the top of a cane or something.
Yeah. So it's like a flute, of course, in that you blow into it and it has holes that you cover and uncover to get different notes, but it's definitely not shaped like a flute. And there are actually different standard shapes. The best known shape is called the transverse, which is also known as the sweet potato. what I thought was really interesting is that there's another style called the English pendant, which is interesting because it was invented in the 1960s by a man named John Taylor.
Oh, really?
Of course, it's not the same one.
Yeah.
But I just like the idea that, John Taylor.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's obviously been around for thousands of years, the ocarina. Kind of like a flute, but it's not. It's not long like a pipe.
Yeah, it looks really neat.
Yeah.
And I guess these days they're mostly made out of like ceramic.
Yeah. And a lot of the examples I saw some that were like combination teacups and ocarinas. Like you could use it as a teacup.
Wow.
I'm not sure how that would work because wouldn't the tea come out of the holes? But
That's crazy.
yeah. So Simon just doesn't write lyrics and sing. He plays instruments. Crazy.
He only plays crazy instruments.
Crazy
though.
instruments, yes.
What did he play on New Religion?
He played the vibraphone,
Now he's playing this thing.
the ocarina.
And there's another musician who sits in with them and has some input into this track
Oh, yeah?
that I just want to mention before I forget.
Please do.
There was a guy named John Mulligan who was in a band called Fashion
Oh, okay.
that Duran Duran opened for earlier in their career, and John Taylor was kind of into them and was sort of influenced by their sound. He created the synth arpeggios
Oh,
that
yeah.
are used on this song.
Right.
And he actually went on to have sort of like a second career just as like programming,
Oh, okay.
like synthesizer programming.
Oh, wow.
So he's worked with many bands, Visage, Hollywood Beyond, Soul to Soul, and Tintin,
Oh, wow.
one-time lead singer of Duran Duran.
Correct.
So he was in Fashion and also has become a sought-after programmer, which is a credit you see in a lot of synth, like Depeche Mode always
Sure.
have programming credits, and
Right.
Pet Shop Boys. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem like all the bands do it themselves.
No.
So that part of the sound of the song comes from him.
Oh, very cool.
So everything I read online says two things about this song.
Okay.
One, it's one of the band's most popular songs. And two, it's one of the band's most experimental songs. So claims like that first one, when made about a song that was never released as a single, always confuse me a little bit.
Yeah.
How do we know it's one of their most popular songs? Because other acts cover it? Because the band often uses snippets of the video in concert? I don't really know how they can claim it's one of their most popular songs.
Yeah, especially from back in the old days when there wasn't something like the internet where everyone was talking about it online or something like that. How would you just know?
Yeah, good point. So the second point is true, in my opinion. It is experimental.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that they would record something this adventurous shouldn't be surprising. I think Nightboat on their first album is pretty experimental too. So it's not something they're afraid to do. So is it safe to say that an experimental track that has never been released is one of the band's most popular songs?
It seems a little off, it seems like kind of counterintuitive, really.
I know. And I don't even understand really why I'm hung up on it. I just think it was like a weird sentence to say. Would a casual top 40 listener say, oh yeah, I like that better than Hungry Like the Wolf?
Heck no.
I don't think so.
No.
There's no way to prove or disprove it, I guess. And the song is so good. I can't dispute the high quality of this track in every regard. So I guess I'll just live with that.
Okay.
Through some nebulous means of evaluating it,
Yeah.
this is one of their most popular songs.
I would say, yeah, this is another fan favorite.
Yep.
You mentioned how experimental it is, and it certainly, right from the very beginning, you can tell this is different from everything else we've heard so far.
So true.
It's so minimalistic. Certainly in the beginning. And I think with this song, less is more. Eventually there is more, but it takes a while to get there.
Yeah. Every sound we hear in this track is perfect. And like you said, it builds. And Nick proves his genius, I think, with this song. It's perfectly sterile. It's perfectly pristine. And every sound is amazing.
Right. And every sound is meaningful and important.
Right. We were mentioning some of the percussion in the last track, the sticks hitting each other.
Yeah.
In here, there's some little electronic clicks and snippets and things that feature in the first 2 minutes and 15 seconds. After that, some real drums come in. These electronic sounds sound to me like they were the inspiration for the entire Exciter album from Depeche Mode. All of the percussion on that album sounds like it stems from what Roger and Nick were doing with this song.
Oh, wow.
And Depeche Mode doesn't do it as well as Duran Duran, unfortunately.
18 years later.
Simon does a great job on this song.
Oh, yeah. He does get a little bit of whiny in this one.
Yep. I said he does a great job on the vocal. The only part I don't absolutely love is the sing blue silver part, which is a bit whiny.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of things where people love singing along to that. Yeah, but I bet they don't go sing like that.
Maybe they should.
Yeah, but I do like his vocals on this. Very good delivery. for the most part.
And like other tracks we've talked about today, in particular Last Chance on the Stairway, this song features some added sound effects. You heard some of that in the little snippet there.
Yep, that's
and
right.
I really like those. I understand them less here than I did on the previous song, but they still help to add to the atmosphere of the track and I think sound really good.
Yeah. I can tell you the one at the very end is apparently the chauffeur's keys being dropped.
Oh,
That's one of the sounds that I know for sure. That's what it's supposed to be.
Is he dropping them on the ground and like walking away? Like is he
Perhaps.
He can't deal with it anymore?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I didn't get an explanation as to what they represented. I just know that that's what it was supposed to be.
I see.
But yeah, that's a good reasoning, considering this seems to be from the point of view of someone watching someone else basically be in love with someone else, I think,
Right.
or being obsessed with someone else while they have their own obsession.
And someone that they're not ever going to get.
Right.
So you can see why that would be frustrating and
Absolutely.
cause you to drop your keys and walk away.
Yeah. Forget it. I'm not driving for this person anymore.
Also, at the end, there's like some quiet spoken word
Yeah.
that they added in. I saw on DuranDuran.com, there's an Ask Katie
Yes.
column.
Yes.
And Katie says that snippet comes from a nature record that the band found and that it was somebody talking about insects in the grass.
Okay.
Hey, you know what? I just thought about this. I didn't think about it earlier, but like we mentioned earlier with that album, All You Need Is Now,
Yeah.
being the imaginary follow-up to this album. The song on that album, The Man Who
Stole a leopard.
Stole a Leopard,
Yeah.
is obviously an attempt to
Yeah.
recreate the song.
I think so.
I just
Yeah,
realized
that's their arty avant-garde song equivalent on that album.
Yeah,
Definitely.
pretty cool.
And I love that song too.
So do I.
Well, this is obviously the most different song on the album, and yet I don't think it feels out of place. It's a nice change from what we've heard up to this point, but it shows they're capable of other styles. You kind of already referenced this on their first album, but again, I think it works very well. It certainly works very well here as an album closer.
Yeah, it's a great album
It's
closer.
a great way to end the album. Very atmospheric, and yeah, it's a very cool last song.
I can't explain this, but it's so different what came before, but it still fits as part of the cohesive album.
Yeah.
Totally different, but
And yet it's not.
yeah, it's so strange.
I mean, because we do have things like Simon's vocals, which are, consistent the whole way through. He's always the singer. He sounds pretty much the same as with some variations. And we got these crazy keyboards, yet they don't sound unlike Duran Duran.
True. This is an awesome song.
It is.
And we're going to talk about this when we talk about the video. This is one I was
Yeah.
really unaware of
The video.
the song.
Oh, the
I
song.
didn't really know the song at all
Oh.
until we got the CD, like we said, 9 years ago. But
I knew it was out there. I mean, again, I think I knew somehow in fandom it's very popular. Well,
Right.
of course, there's a line from the Sing Blue Silver that is used in what is it used in? The tour something or other. This is something I should have written down.
it was the name of like the tour book from this
Yeah.
time. And I think there was a tour video that came out.
Yeah.
Called
So
Sing
there
Blue
are
Silver.
lines from this song that are particular line is used a lot in the Duran Duran anthology.
Over the years, they keep coming back to this one.
Yeah.
And speaking of Simon, I really want to compliment him for the lyrics of this song because they are really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very impressed by how poetic they are. I said, this song is quite a good bit of literature.
Oh, very nice. I actually saw someone comparing these opening lines of this song to the opening lines of Jabberwocky by.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I didn't want to write all that stuff down. So if you go back and you look at the opening lines of this, I don't know. I think this is definitely like a futuristic, otherworldly vibe, kind of like almost like Blade Runner or something. The glides out on the tar plains. I don't know. That sounds like something in some kind of futuristic society.
It does. I have a note here that I don't know what glides are and I don't know what tar planes are.
I don't
I was
know.
like, should I Google these? I don't feel like it.
I think it just sounds like it's something out in.
In the future.
Yeah.
That makes me feel less guilty for not looking it up.
I have a lot of other notes. I just didn't take notes on that particular part.
Well, tell me some more of your notes.
My other notes now are referring to the video.
I'm ready to move on to the video unless you want to hear my few Simon lyrics that I was impressed by.
Well, I always do.
Like I said, I was impressed by the whole song.
Yeah.
But the things that I really liked, you sit beside me so newly charming, sweating dewdrops glisten, freshening your side.
Wow.
That's awesome. And I really love near the end when he says, I'll only watch you leave me further behind.
Yeah.
Kind of a sad lyric.
Oh, yeah, very much. That's why he drops his keys.
So the chauffeur, whenever I think about chauffeurs, particularly, with Duran Duran in mind, it just puts me in mind of the 15th James Bond movie, A View to a Kill. In that movie, Patrick Macnee plays Sir Godfrey Tibbett, who is undercover with James Bond as a chauffeur.
Really?
And it's unfortunate, but Tibbett is going to be murdered by Mayday,
Oh.
who was in the Duran Duran video for A View to a Kill,
Hey.
played by Grace Jones.
Yes.
She's going to garrote him in the car in a car wash.
Oh,
And
no.
I could picture this song playing as that scene happens, as it's
Really?
going through the car wash and he's being garroted. Now, View to a Kill is the last Roger Moore movie to be made.
Yeah.
And he was past his prime in this one.
Yeah.
He looks too old to be in this movie, and he's not helped by the fact that this is also the worst effort by director John Glenn. Glenn provided some great films with The Living Daylights, For Your Eyes Only, both excellent espionage-focused movies, but this movie
Okay.
is just
Hold on.
all around
Stop.
not up to the standards.
Stop.
And the cool thing is they did ask David Bowie to be in this one.
Yeah.
He turned it down. They asked him to play Max Zorin, the
Oh.
villain. They ultimately went with Christopher Walken.
Yes, they
I think
did.
Bowie knew to stay away from this one.
Okay. You said you weren't going to do it.
Do what?
Try not to do a James Bond podcast.
Oh, I didn't even. Was I doing one?
Yes, you were.
I didn't even realize that.
Yes, I was like, help,
Oh,
stop.
sorry about that.
And you did talk about the one movie that Duran Duran had a part in, sort of. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, we're still talking about Rio. We're still talking about Duran Duran.
All right, I'm focused. I don't know what happened
it's
there.
the last song.
All
We
right.
gotta get.
I made it all the way through almost 3 episodes.
Okay. Since you did talk about movies and things, that did make me think before we talk about the video, there was one other thing I wanted to mention about this song. An orchestral version of this song was used in Christian Dior's Fall and Winter 2016-2017 fashion show. I found a video clip of that on YouTube, and it's a really cool version of the song.
Cool. Well, here's a little sample.
Okay, good. And then we'll send you the link to the video if you want to see people walking in crazy fashions.
Beautiful people.
Yes, beautiful people. It's being played live by an orchestra. It's pretty cool.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the video.
Okay, let's talk
about the video and keep in mind that we strive to keep our podcast family friendly so we can have that little symbol over there on the left side of the iTunes screen.
That's right.
This is going to be really difficult to talk about.
Well, I think we can figure it out. I mean, first of all, let's get out of the way the very technical and maybe boring aspects of it. Let's talk about who directed this, because it's not Russell Mulcahy.
That's right, it's not.
It's actually a guy named Ian Ems, and he is from Birmingham, just like the rest of the band. And he was already famous for directing animated videos for Pink Floyd. It's an interesting decision I think, for the band to choose him, and what he ended up producing. It was not, obviously, this is not an animated movie.
Nope.
Okay, and this was filmed in Notting Hill, London.
Okay.
So it's not in an exotic locale because it's very urban.
That's right. And you can tell that as the car is being driven through the city.
Right. And that's an Austin Princess limousine, I believe, is what I saw. If anyone follows limousines and knows different kinds.
This isn't a limousine podcast, Sarah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry that I provided that information. Got us off track.
So I've known about this video for most of my life, I think.
Oh, really?
Since I was a kid, I remember in the 80s, I knew that there was a video called The Chauffeur that had nudity in it. And I never searched it out. I never saw it. Back then, I don't know how I would have seen it.
No.
There's no way back then unless you bought the video collection, I guess, the video album. Mm-hmm. But since I didn't buy Duran Duran albums, I never would have bought the video album.
No.
And then even as a grown-up and having access to the internet, I never searched it until this weekend. Yeah.
Until you had no choice.
So the first time I saw it for this podcast was the first time I saw it ever.
Me too.
It does have lingerie wearing models, and it does have some nudity in it. All these things that as kids that we all got excited about here. Oh, you got to see this.
There's boobies.
But I was a little disappointed whenever I saw it because a lot of it just comes off as awkward to me. In 84, I would have loved it. But now all the footage of both the women running their hands up their legs and across their chest and stuff, it just seemed forced the way they did it. Although I was thinking about it, I guess it could be intentionally awkward in the case of the woman in the car because she could just be running her hand up her stockings and stuff to mess with the chauffeur.
That's true. Yeah.
But then we have the case of the woman who's by herself in the bedroom. She's just as awkward.
Yeah.
And there's nobody there to be watching her.
I think they're both nervous about meeting each other. I think that's what it is.
They could be. But like when the woman in the car readjusts her legs and the way she's sitting,
Yeah.
kind of like squirming around to get comfortable, it does come off to me as a realistic portrayal of arousal.
Okay.
But then it's completely ruined when she just quickly throws her hand down on her knee and kind of traces her finger up her leg.
Yeah, like I have to do this now.
Yeah. And I didn't buy it. I bought the just repositioning in the chair. I thought that worked really well. Some of this other stuff, not so much.
Okay. And how about the woman in the hotel in the bedroom? That first outfit she had, like nobody would sleep in that.
No.
That looked very uncomfortable.
No, much like nobody would sleep in the outfit of the girl in Lonely in Your Nightmare.
Yeah, true.
You'd want something more comfortable.
Yeah, that's right. And a sheet, right?
Yeah, right. The car is driving through the city. The girl is in the hotel. They go to a parking garage and they meet there in the parking garage.
Yes, they do.
And at this point, this is where, if you're a fan of erotica, you want to be glad that Ian produced this one and not Russell.
Okay.
Because if Russell produced it, any scene set in a parking garage is going to lead to a sword fight.
Yeah, and perhaps a beheading.
Yes, very
Yeah.
true, Sarah.
Yeah.
So instead of having someone get beheaded in this video,
Yeah.
we have the two women kind of
Awkward patty cake.
play patty cake and dance really strangely.
Yeah.
And then a third woman shows up
Well, yeah.
who's dressed like a chauffeur.
Yeah, and they make it look like the chauffeur gets out of the limousine and then transforms into a platinum balloon person.
Yes, and that's where the nudity comes from. She takes off her jacket
Yeah.
and she's topless and she does crazy dance.
Yeah.
A dance that's not erotic at all.
No.
It's just bizarre.
It's bizarre and contortion heavy, as I read in Morgan Richter's Duranalysis.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think to read what he had to say.
He had a lot to say.
Well, before we talk about that, Sarah,
Yeah.
I don't get where this third woman comes from. I thought that it was the chauffeur turning into her somehow, but then the chauffeur is back.
At the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's three women there and he's watching them. So I didn't really get that.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those where the timing and the reality, what's real and what's not, it's definitely in question. That's not the first time we've seen that in a Duran Duran video. Like, when did this happen compared to that? It's a video. It's artsy. It's supposed to make you think, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah, but that dance is, well, I'd say it's still a better dance than the other dance that the other two women are doing because they're barely moving around. They seem like they don't know what to do. At least she's got kind of some rhythm going on. And she should because she's a real dancer. The person playing that part is Perry Lister, and she is an actual accomplished dancer. She was in a band, I think. She was a Blitz kid, whatever that is.
Okay. I don't know.
But she was a real dancer, and her dance was actually an homage to a scene in another movie.
A scene from the movie The Night Porter.
Correct.
The Dance of the Seven Veils.
Yes.
Well, I watched that movie today.
The whole movie?
No, I mean, I watched that scene.
Oh, okay.
So the film, it has this scene of this, it's a room full of Nazis in their
Yep.
Nazi uniforms.
Right.
And this woman is doing a dance. And the only similarity I see between the dance she does and the dance that the woman does in the video is that both actresses are very similar physically. The dances share no similarity.
Well, like the kinds of movements that they're making?
Yeah, the kinds of movements are
Well,
not similar
okay.
at all. So I'm not sure. I've read everywhere people said it was inspired by that.
Well, she's wearing, in the movie, she's wearing man's trousers, suspenders, and a cap.
Right. And this
So,
woman's wearing
like
pants, a cummerbund or something. Like,
Yeah.
And I guess
And-
a hat.
and a cap.
No suspenders. So, okay.
Kind of-
They're both wearing hats. They
They're
have the same
topless.
body type.
Yeah.
But the woman in the video dances more crazily and moves around a lot more than the woman in the movie. It's also inspired by the photos of a photographer named Helmut Newton.
Yes.
And I looked up those on Google,
Okay.
and I can see much more of an impact in mood
Okay.
and stuff.
More of a correlation there.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like what Morgan Richter says about the dance at the end.
What does he say?
He says, the dancing in the parking garage goes on for a ridiculously long time. Because if there's anything we've learned from New Moon on Monday and Arcadia's election day, it's this. Whenever Duran Duran can't figure out how to gracefully wrap up a video, they end it by throwing a long and weird dance party. We all have much to learn from them.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love that. You're like, well, let's just have these people dance for a while and then we'll just kind of end it.
Yeah.
One shot in the video I do want to mention that's not the erotic dance or the non-erotic dance as it may be. There's a shot of the woman walking in the trench coat as she's walking to get to where she's meeting the woman in the car. The camera is in front of her and it's like at a slightly low angle and she's got her hands in her pockets. It totally reminds me of Don't You Want Me by like the Human League.
Oh, okay. When Susan.
Yeah. And go back and look at that little section. I think you'll say, oh, yeah. Totally,
that's cool.
Totally the same.
All right. So, I'm glad I finally saw that video, but I'm more than slightly disappointed in it after all these years of knowing that there was a sexy video with nudity.
Yeah. Do you think Girls on Film is a better sexy video with nudity?
Yes, I think that's a better video.
Okay.
All right, so now we've got to figure out what we're going to rate this album.
Oh, okay.
But let's kill some time as we percolate our scores in our
Yeah.
heads. Let's do our usual extra credit question.
So, yeah, I'm thinking long and hard about what to ask as an extra credit question for this episode, for this whole series of episodes about Rio and Duran Duran.
I'm glad you gave it some thought because, it's rare that we do 3 episodes for an album. So
yeah, we try not to do that. And
but it shows that it's an important album.
Right, yeah.
And
so
we put extra thought into it. So I'm glad that you took extra time to come up with a hard-hitting question.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to make sure this was worthy of the time that we're spending on this album. So my question is, who's your favorite member of the band?
Well, that's a great question because that is the
question.
The question of the 80s.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite member of Duran Duran?
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite?
If I was going to answer that question,
I think you'd better answer that question.
who is my favorite member of Duran Duran? I would have to go with the talented, the handsome, the dapper, Mr. John Taylor.
I'm not surprised.
That's not just true because I've fallen in love with his bass playing these past couple of weeks. Even back in the 80s, he was my favorite member of Duran Duran because I thought about it. I never bought Arcadia. I mean, I have bought it, but I bought it in the 90s when I worked at a record shop.
Yeah.
I never had Arcadia growing up, but I went out and bought Power Station.
Okay.
I listened to that cassette all the time. Mm-hmm. I was totally psyched that John Taylor had a solo single, and I went out and bought the 12-inch for I Do What I Do from the film 9.5 Weeks, and I love that song. I read his book twice. I've read Andy's book, never. Although I would like to read it. And I'm gratified that this podcast has finally made me listen carefully to him and fully appreciate what a great bass player he is. He is an awesome player. And it's easy to dismiss the musicianship of Duran Duran. People have been guilty of it for 30 years now. He's a great bass player. So my favorite member of Duran Duran is John.
Okay. Well, that's a good answer.
What about you, Sarah? Who is your favorite member of Duran Duran?
Well, this was tough, although it wasn't super tough because I had to rule out Andy and Roger just because I didn't really know that much about them because I wasn't big into them back in the day.
And Andy's like a bad boy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He's a rocker.
Oh, man. Could never get behind that. So it was, between really Nick, Simon, and John. And, well, I got to say, I think John is definitely the most good looking out of all of them. Mm-hmm. He's the cutest and he's got that hair, great hair.
Oh, yeah. He has the hair.
He's got a lot of good things going for him. I love the bass playing too. But I think my favorite is probably Simon.
Simon!
Yeah. And not necessarily for his looks because I do think John's better looking, but I like Simon's cheekiness. I like his goofiness. I like how much of a ham he is and stuff on stage and how he doesn't really take himself seriously a lot. And not that the rest of them do either, but I kind of just like his personality and his songwriting abilities. I've often said, I think in previous episodes, like these words don't make any sense. They're like a Duran Duran song. I got to reading these lyrics as we went through these songs. And I'm like, man, they're actually a lot deeper than I gave them credit for before. So as a lyricist, I think he's actually very talented. And again, someone that probably doesn't get as much credit, although he finally did later on with Ordinary World.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I like Simon the best.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I just feel bad for Nick. Neither of us chose him.
Well, he'll live.
I guess so. All right, so that gave us some time, Sarah. Hopefully you've been figuring out in your head there what you're going to give this record.
Yeah, and my little off-the-cuff rating.
Yep, we've got to evaluate the record on a scale of 1 to 5 record adapters.
Yeah.
5 out of 5 being perfect. So do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I don't know. It's been a long time since we've had to do this. We haven't rated an album since July.
With the Information Society?
Yeah, been a while. Are you up to it?
I think I'm up to it.
All right. You want to go first?
All right, so final rating of Rio. Based on everything we've said on how important this album is to the decade of music that I love so much, it would seem criminal to give it anything less than a 5 out of 5. But I'm not going to do that unless it truly deserves a 5 out of 5.
All right.
Like I said on a previous episode, it's very strange, but in truth, I only have started listening to this album probably 9 years ago with the 2009 re-release. I never had it growing up. Even when I started collecting Duran Duran albums, I never really got these early albums. I was happy to start with Notorious. So it's kind of a more recent Duran Duran album for me. I do have great memories of the singles, though, watching the videos over and over in my VHS videotapes that I would record off of Friday Night Videos and singing along on the radio when the songs came on. So the 3 real singles, Rio, Save a Prayer, and Hungry Like the Wolf. I don't really consider My Own Way as a real single because it didn't make any impact here in the U.S.
Right.
But the 3 real singles are all undeniable classics. Listening to them now, you realize they still sound fantastic and they really do hold up. So it's the other 6 songs that are going to determine my rating here. We're starting at 5 stars just based on the strength of those singles.
Okay.
And the rest of these 6 songs are going to either leave the rating unaffected or cause me to subtract from it.
Ooh.
Nothing good can happen. The best that can happen is I'm not going to subtract points.
Yeah.
Some took me to task for what I said in episode 2, talking about the song Hold Back the Rain. People mentioned that I was way too critical on it. Things that I said was, lyrically, it's my least favorite track. There's a keyboard sound in it I don't like. There was a sameness to it from what I was hearing on side 1, and the breathy midsection was trying to replicate Hungry Like the Wolf's midsection, but it wasn't as good. If those are the worst things I'm saying about this song, I'm really not saying anything really all that bad about it. Lyrically, it's my least favorite track, but then I said it was easy to ignore that because the melody is so great. The synth voice I didn't like. It was the first sound in 5 songs that I didn't like. And those songs must have featured in total over like 30 different synth voices. So 1 out of 30, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And keep in mind that I spent over an hour heaping praise on the first 4 tracks, and I was just trying to find something negative to talk about to mix things up a bit. The worst thing I said today on side 2 was this. For the song Last Chance on the Stairway, I like it quite a bit. It's a good 80s pop song with a fun chorus, but it doesn't hold up to the other tracks on the record. The first thing I say, I like it quite a bit.
Yeah.
The truth is, the worst song on this album, Last Chance on the Stairway, is still a great song. Everything else is somewhere between awesome and amazing. So this is Duran Duran's greatest album, and it fully deserves the decades of accolades that it has earned. If I could mark up a rating past 5 out of 5 record adapters, I would, because these 6 songs that were going to make or break it, at least 4 of them are just as good as the classic singles. This is an amazingly strong album. So enjoy your perfect score, Duran Duran, because I love this album. This is your best work. Congratulations, 5 record adapters out of 5. But remember, the next time we talk about you, you aren't going to get a 5 out of 5, because I love almost every one of your records, but I can't think of a single other record in your discography that doesn't contain at least one bum track. And in 1982, you recorded and you released Rio, which is amazing, and it's flawless. Congratulations, 5 out of 5.
All right. Wow, I like that journey you took us on there. That was really good. Kind of touch and go for a little while. All right, well, here's my take. I think I end up saying this more often than not, but this was a difficult one for me. I think many people would agree, obviously you do, that this is Duran Duran's defining album.
Yep.
And in fact, many people would say that this is their very best album and they've never done anything as good as Rio. I am not sure I would agree with that, but I definitely would say that this is the album that gave them both a musical and a visual identity. So you mentioned a little bit in part 2 how some of the songs sounded kind of the same. And I said I thought that was important for the band because that if they didn't have this defining sound on this album, they probably wouldn't have achieved the success that they did. Because like, this is the sound, this is them. I would say that we definitely get more variety of sounds and styles on the second side, but I think almost everything still has that same kind of feel to it, with the possible exception of the chauffeur. A big chunk of the credit has to go to the producer, Colin Thurston, but it also goes to the band because they were just in that creative and energized and cohesive point in their career. They were excited to make music together. Egos weren't getting in their way. They all had very equal footing. Their musical contributions are all very balanced in most all of the songs. And we've both embarrassingly admitted to not owning this album for many, many years. So I didn't even know all of these songs for a very long time. But even though I didn't grow up with this album, I certainly grew up with a lot of the songs from it, just like you did. And I sang along to them and know them very well. And having listened to the entire album multiple times since then, especially recently, I can honestly say I like every song on this album. There's not one song I would skip. I even like the placement of the songs, which, as you know, sometimes I have a problem with, but I really like this album. I think it flows very well on both sides. I like the fact that the second side, we get a little bit more of experimental, different stuff. You know, they spent the whole first side kind of introducing us to what they sound like, and then, okay, well, we're going to shift it just a little bit. We feel like we're comfortable enough now to go ahead and do that. So I really don't have any complaints about Rio. I think it's iconic. I think it's extremely important to the history of new wave music. It's gone on to influence so many other artists. It has excellent musicianship, clever writing, lush production, And of course, the visual imagery, both in the packaging and the music videos, is just as important as and influential as the music itself. So the one thing that was holding me back here was my limited history with the album. As you know, this is permanent record, is things that have been in our collection for a long time, generally. This hasn't. And so I was like, can I do it? Can I do it? But I felt like I have to. It's the right thing to do for me to give this a rating of 5 record adapters. It's just too good of an album not to do so.
Good job, Sarah.
Well, thank you.
And now I will reveal this to the public. I didn't want to say this earlier because I didn't want to tip your hand, but everyone, Sarah is wearing a cherry ice cream t-shirt.
That's true. I am. Yep, I wore that on purpose. And I have a cherry ice cream smile, too.
That's right. So I didn't want to mention it earlier because I thought it could reveal what you were going to say.
Yeah, maybe.
So congratulations, Duran Duran. 2 perfect scores.
Woohoo! Yeah, I don't do that lately. Well, I don't think either of us do. Well, you hand out 5s more than I do. I think that's maybe the 4th one I've done in 66 episodes.
You're stingy.
I am. Yep. Got to work hard to earn my 5. And these boys did it. Thank you. The Fab 5 got a 5.
Awesome. So don't forget, if you want to, you can reach out to us and let us know what you think about Rio, how it impacted your life, what you feel about it, anything that interests you about Rio.
Yeah, you've got to have better memories about it than we do from back in the day since
Yeah,
neither
really.
of us owned it.
And if you want your stories to be shared at the beginning of the next episode, give us a call at our voicemail number, 724-490-8324. And we're going to try to share some of those
Little snippets and memories.
stories and memories on the next episode, so that may be nice. Also, don't forget how happy it makes us when we get those iTunes reviews.
Oh, yeah.
We had a couple at the beginning of this episode, and you saw how overjoyed we were.
We were thrilled.
So if you would like to, feel free to log into iTunes and let us know what you think.
Yep.
And I guess the last thing before we get out of here, because Sarah, we're over 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we've been talking for a long time. Just want to say we hope everyone enjoyed Duran Duran Rio. A lot of people asked over the past year or so when we were going to get to them, and we kept putting it off.
Right.
But I'm glad we finally did get to it, and it was a lot of fun learning about this record.
Yep.
And it was a lot of fun talking about it with you.
Hopefully you all agree that we have done it justice, and that was a big concern of ours. We wanted to make sure that we gave it its due, and hopefully you all enjoyed it.
Yep. So thanks for listening, and we will see you next time with something special.
Yes, for sure.
Bye-bye.